Every calendar harbors days draped in red, signifying both celebration and solemn history. Yet few encapsulate the struggles and victories of the common man, like Labor Day. Rooted in the soil of industrial America, where sweat was often met with scorn rather than wages, Labor Day emerged as a testament to the spirit and resilience of the American worker. Rising from the tumultuous waves of labor strikes and the smoke of factory chimneys, this holiday has evolved, reflecting the changing contours of work in America. Labor Day is no mere day off. It is a mirror reflecting the past struggles for fair labor practices and a measuring stick for the progress still demanded in the competitive whirlpool of modern American labor markets. Labor Day's inception is a story woven through hard-fought battles among the burgeoning labor movements of the late 19th century. Its genesis can be traced to the labor union movements that began in earnest within the smog-filled cities like New York and Chicago, where manual laborers, facing dire working conditions, sought to lay claim to basic human rights, fair wages, and reasonable working hours. Officially, it was the Central Labor Union and Knights of Labor who first celebrated this day on September 5, 1882, in New York City. As annual celebrations began to spring up across cities in America, the resonance of the day grew, forming a significant cultural landmark in the national calendar. The Pullman Strike of 1894, wherein thousands of railroad workers faced off against their wealthy employers backed by federal troops, marked a crucial turning point. In the aftermath, and partially as a conciliatory gesture towards the American workforce, President Grover Cleveland established Labor Day as a national holiday. The significance of Labor Day is underscored not just by the relaxation it offers, but by its status as a remembrance for those who have toiled and even given their lives so that the working conditions might be improved. Through parades and public speeches, the threads of historical struggles are woven into the present, reminding us that the luxuries of today were earned by the labors of yesterday. With the digital revolution and globalization redefining what it means to work, Labor Day's relevance is continually tested. Today, as many bask in the liberty of remote work and gig economy, there are others entrenched in old industries where unfair labor practices stubbornly persist. This day thus serves as a contemplative pause, prompting reflection on the state of labor rights in an era where work can as easily be found in Silicon Valley's tech firms as in the traditional manufacturing belts of the Midwest. This current Labor Day comes at a time when workers face new challenges: the erosion of job security, disputes over healthcare benefits, and debates around minimum wage laws. Moreover, the technological displacement of jobs presents a fresh frontier in the labor struggle. Against this backdrop, the essence of Labor Day is evolving, morphing to not only celebrate victories and acknowledge past struggles, but also to highlight continuing inequities and advocate for necessary reforms in work culture and labor laws. In sum, Labor Day serves as both a historical archive and an ongoing commentary on American labor. Like a river fed by different streams of historical and contemporary issues, it flows forward, forever relevant, mirroring the nation's evolving labor landscape. As we lay down the celebrations each year, we recall its origins in the gritty determination of 19th century labor movements and its indispensable role in shaping the discourse around modern work and workers' rights. As we delve into the global observance of Labor Day, it becomes evident that this day resonates far beyond the borders of the United States. Each country brings its own unique flavor and tradition to the celebration, reflecting diverse cultural attitudes towards labor and solidarity. In Canada, similar to the US, Labor Day marks the end of summer with parades and picnics, but also includes significant labor union demonstrations focusing on workers' rights and achievements. Crossing over to Europe, in countries like Italy and Spain, Labor Day, or May Day, as it's commonly known, is a public holiday filled with vibrant rallies and protests advocating for workers' rights, blending historical socialist movements with contemporary labor issues. Meanwhile, in countries like Russia and China, the day is marked by organized state events and parades that demonstrate the power and organization of their workforces. Moving towards Asia, in Japan, Labor Thanksgiving Day is a national holiday observed in November, which honors labor, production, and giving one another thanks. It's a quieter day compared to the energetic rallies elsewhere, but is deeply significant in its reflection on labor and gratitude. Each of these global celebrations, from the loud and festive to the quiet and reflective, underscores the universal value of labor. They remind us that Labor Day, in any country, is a day to honor the hard work and contributions of workers, advocating continuously for their rights and better working conditions. As we continue to explore Labor Day across the globe, we see a tapestry of traditions that celebrate the spirit of hard work and advocacy for workers' rights. In the United States, cities burst into life with parades featuring floats, marching bands, and union banners. These parades are not just festive, they are powerful displays of unity and strength among workers. Speeches by labor leaders and activists punctuate the air, inspiring attendees to reflect on the achievements and ongoing struggles of labor movements. Across the pond, Europe's Labor Day is marked with a blend of festivity and activism. In France, the air is filled with the scent of lily-of-the-valley flowers, given as a symbol of spring and labor rights. Streets are lined with rallies and marches where voices are raised in solidarity for workers' protections and rights. In the quieter corners of the world, such as small towns and communities, Labor Day may take on a more subdued but equally meaningful expression. Families gather for picnics and backyard BBQs, sharing stories of their work experiences and discussing the importance of fair labor practices. These gatherings, though less visible than grand parades, are fundamental in knitting the fabric of community and understanding around labor issues. Further east, in countries like India, Labor Day is an occasion for public speeches and demonstrations, but also cultural performances that highlight the contributions of workers to the nation's progress. Here, the celebration is as much about education and awareness as it is about advocacy. Each of these diverse celebrations, whether they are vibrant parades, reflective family gatherings, or public demonstrations, serves as a reminder of the many faces of Labor Day. They all converge on a common point: honoring and advocating for the dignity of work and the rights of workers everywhere. While Labor Day is a time of celebration and recognition for workers' rights across many parts of the world, it also casts a shadow in regions where labor abuses still persist. In some countries, this day is less a celebration and more a stark reminder of the ongoing struggles against labor exploitation and unsafe working conditions. For instance, in certain parts of Asia and the Middle East, migrant workers often face harsh realities that are hidden behind the festivities. They may endure long hours, inadequate pay, and even violations of their basic human rights. Labor Day thus becomes a day of protest, where the voices of the oppressed are raised not in celebration, but in plea for change. In Latin America, despite strong labor movements, many workers are still fighting for basic rights like fair wages and safe working environments. Here, Labor Day is marked by marches and demonstrations that are as much about resistance as they are about celebration. These events highlight the critical need for ongoing advocacy and reform to truly honor the spirit of Labor Day. As we reflect on the joyful celebrations of Labor Day, let us also remember the shadow sides that compel us to continue the fight for a fair and just working world.